Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's ad-free live stream. Welcome to Monday morning. If you're here for the first time, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here this morning. My name is Tyler, and I'm here to help navigate you through the wild world of day trading futures. During the live streams, I'm going to be breaking down my daily trading bias, sharing you trades that I've taken, and giving you a detailed explanation of what you can expect and how the market is moving when it comes to order flow. Now, if you're watching this after the fact, you can jump down to the key moments using the timeline below the video where you'll find all the trades that I've taken, along with a detailed explanation so you can learn exactly what I was thinking and why. And lastly, if you guys are looking to take your trading to the next level and are looking to begin trading with a funded futures account, you can use Apex, and I have a discount code for you. You can use the code DTJ that will give you 80% off your next eval account. That's $29 for a 25K account and $33 for a 50K account. I will be trading today with my funded Apex accounts that I'll be using here today, and we are going to go ahead and get started. Let's open in prayer. I'm telling you, the market is doing some funky stuff this morning, and we'll get into that here in a second, but let's go ahead and open in prayer. Father, we honor you this morning. Father, no matter what the market looks like, no matter what the market is doing, Father, we choose to honor you in our trading. We choose to be patient and wait for our setups, not to be manipulated by the market. Father, we thank you that you've given us the ability to produce wealth. And I pray for everyone on this stream, Father, that you would bless them, that they would see increase in the work of their hands. Father, that you would bless the work of their hands. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, folks, let's rock and roll. Hopefully it is all working here appropriately this morning. I'm just going to refresh, make sure everything's working. Go ahead and drop a comment in the chat. Make sure you hear me and everything's working properly. Orange fan, good morning, Scott. Good, all right, good. Okay, so today is weird. I'm telling you what, my computer is very slow right now. Let me make sure I have everything shut down that needs to be shut down. And I don't have too many tabs open. We'll close this. All right, I have everything down. All right, so we have a gigantic new week opening gap right here. So this is a huge gap. It skipped the previous day high that was sitting right here. It just skipped it altogether. Didn't want to mess around with being rejected, so it decided to open above it. That is very bullish. We then hit this previous day high sitting right here. I have this marked at a new day opening gap for the 15th. And then if we jump to a daily time frame, we are inside of this fair value gap and volume imbalance sitting right here. Okay, so let me change this to this and that. That's basically what we're in right now. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I really do not know. I mean, it looks extremely bullish. I was talking on the Discord about what happens when we run these highs, or when we break the consequent encroachment of a daily fair value gap. And you can see, my thought was we may reach up for this volume imbalance, but it's skipping this whole market maker sell model altogether, it seems, and may be running for all-time highs again. That's the thing with all-time highs, is you can't bet against all-time highs. All-time highs tend to win almost every time. When you think it should go lower, it goes higher. So, what are we looking at here this morning? On a weekly time frame, we got 8 minutes till open. I know that I'll be doing the 9:30. I'll be taking my 9:30 model, and outside of that, I'll be sitting on my hands until I have a clearer idea of what's going on. I think this volume imbalance and the weekly fair value gap is going to want to be filled, and we also have the previous day range. 13 weeks out of the past 13 weeks, we have come to the midpoint of the previous day's range. Well, I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but because of how aggressive we are, I think we see two things. We potentially see one of two things. Either we're going to have a trending day higher, or we're going to have a morning reversal. Those are the two things that I'm looking for. Which one, I don't know. If I had a preference, I'm hoping a morning reversal. I'm not a fan of trending days. The more I talk about them, the more I'm becoming better at them. We'll see. Just for kicks and giggles, gold is down 2.5% right now. I wanted it to see it run lower anyway. I'm looking for it to hit this line right here, and we have a crazy retracement, a whole week of green price action, hit this inversion and fair value gap, and then we've just collapsed. So I would like to see that continue to run lower. I do not trade gold. I do not trade it on here. I own it, so I just keep track of it. On the 4 hour, I mean, the price action here is just crazy. This giant gap is what I'm watching. That's just really what I'm watching right now. And it'll make more sense as we get into the lower time frame because it's going to be an opening range gap. Eva, good morning. Northern, good morning. Chucktown Trader, good morning. Hang Flying, how you doing? Scott, good morning. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, and I think that's how I'm going to approach the market. I really want to see how we open this morning. So this is our giant gap that we have from this point to whenever we open. And we have this, we could see a market maker sell model. So we have our accumulation, we have our consolidation, accumulation, and then distribution. So it's just a matter of seeing what price is going to do here. And we have no news for today. We have no news. I don't know what's going on. There it is. Here's Monday, November 25th. We have nothing on the calendar for news. So, yeah, no news. Four minutes till open. I mean, if we can get a market structure shift here, which I'm not sure if we're going to get that. We aren't going to get it on the 5-minute, but we could see price drop at least a little bit. We're going to open somewhere around here. I do have our midnight open already marked. I do have previous day high, and I do have our new week opening gap. Here is the beginning of our new week opening gap. This looks nice right here. Oh, no, that's, we have another fair value gap, so that doesn't qualify. It would on the 2-minute. So if the 2-minute closes below this level, that would spur on a potential push to this low here. I'm not liking this for a 930 model, if I'm honest. Just seeing kind of what's happening with price action, I'm still going to take it. But just keep that in mind.
Order submitted.
All right. 930 model did end up working with but price did not close below this 2-minute fair value gap. So as far as an inversion to the downside, we don't have any confirmation on that, and it already ran that swing low. On the 5-minute, we have a 5-minute change in state of delivery over here, and a nice reaction. Now we just, we are at the previous day high sitting right there. We have this level right here. If we're aggressive, I want to see if it just wants to come up and tap that and then continue lower. That's how I would look at that. There's midnight open. Opening range gap is at the midpoint of the, it's right at in line with that opening, the new week opening gap high. I would like to see it come up, maybe do an institutional order flow entry drill right here. Just a wick into here and then a continuation lower. It may not want to do that. There's the institutional order, there's the fair value gap that we're talking about. Now, it's very, I'm not a huge fan of going, but I'm going to take my entry there. I'm going to see if we can get a pullback here.
Order canceled.
Oops. Right off of that touch of that breaker right there. If we get a push, I'm going to end up closing that. There's that wick. All right, so
Order submitted.
I'm going to be moving my stop to break even here.
Order submitted.
And I might get stopped out here. Yeah, stopped out.
Order canceled.
Oh, shoot.
Order submitted.
It did not cancel all my contracts, folks. Sorry. There's a lot of going on here. All right. I am fully, completely out now. Good morning, Gunberg. Richard. All right. Watching to see how it respects this 930 price. We have a lot of, we have some big wicks here, so we're going to Sit. Morning, Sandra. I like the idea of this rolling over on 9:30. We have this 1 minute right here. I do like that. That's our first fair value gap on the 1 minute also. We have inversion right here that we just closed in for higher prices. I'm gonna let higher prices do their thing. I'm not really. We opened quite. We have a big range. I got all the way down to here, so we're 200 points from the open or the close on Friday. This right here is what I was referring to that we just closed above. Just hit that swing high there. Could push for these right there. We got these new week opening gaps from the 11th sitting up here, which I think I like this point of liquidity here first. We have low resistance liquidity up to this point. If it wants to reach it. Yeah, it's extremely volatile this morning with no news. Taking the quick ones on 15 second, reached my goal already. Way to go. Yeah, here would be a breaker right here that we just ran into. I tried to go on this breaker right here, and that breaker did not play out for me. So this breaker ended up being a loss. I went long here. I went short here. That one ended up losing, unfortunately. Yeah, I know we're bullish as far as the opening, but I was hoping that we were going to run these equal lows down here. That's really what I was looking at. These equal lows looked attractive to me. Still do, to be honest. Yeah, price looks very intentional to continue higher right now. ES is close to all-time highs. There's ES right there. NQ has a much longer ways to go. Much longer. About 300 points if it wants to hit all-time highs. There's a lot of resistance coming in right here in all of this price action right here. This is a breaker as well. The wick of a breaker. What does it look like on the hourly? Right there. We'll see how it reacts to that level. I wouldn't hold longer either, Northern. I think taking 10 handle wins is appropriate for this right now. I'm watching this order block right here to see if we hold it or if we're going to violate it. I mean, everything tells me we go higher at this point, especially this 15-minute candle. 15-minute candle just said, hey, I'm rebalancing all of these levels here and I want to go higher. I might take a long off of this inversion, off of this order block. See if it gives it to us. All right, took that long. See if we can get to these highs.
Order submitted.
I don't know if my macro screen's working. Looking at those highs right there. 72, 82 would need to go right there for a profit. I'm not liking how it stopped there. It did wick this small little candle right there. All right, I'll let it stop me out. If I'm on the wrong side, I'm on the wrong side, and I would rather get stopped out instead of it dropping aggressively in one candle. Yeah, I'm not liking this. That was what we went long on. What's up, Jordy? That order block is still let's see what happens here. Yeah, it's very chaotic right now. I like that fail. All right, so we have a breaker that hit right there to the downside, or just about. And then our next, I think this would be a nice opportunity here. If we are going to run, that might look nice. The better entry would be this breaker right here, to be honest. Especially if we are expecting price to move lower. I am going to take that short. Let's see if what happens here. This is probably going to be my last opportunity. Five-minute. What does the 5-minute look like? We just inversed that as well. We just inversed this 5-minute. I like the idea of lower prices. I'm going to sell on that push. Could have probably held it for more. That would have been nice if I did. But I sold mine for 10 handles there. Here's our first fair value gap. We just closed underneath that. First fair value gap just closed under. I'm going to take that for, see if we can get a push here. Right at the midnight open. Come on. Right there. Sold. There. You guys should have seen that one. That put me green on the day. There's the equal lows. We just tagged those equal lows. Made a second set of equal lows here. Right here, we have our equal lows right there. I'm thinking price is probably going to purge that. Just don't know when. Yeah, it went way, very quick. I'm not taking this to these equal lows. I've tried that before where it makes an equal low and then it acts as if it's going to go and then it just retraces and then it comes back towards them later. But right now price is really heavy. 30-second is really heavy. All right, just swept those equal lows and we're about to hit the new week opening gap. This is where we want to watch to see how price reacts at these levels. The 1125 NWOG and the N20 and then the low. So we have the high here and we have the low down here. We have the previous day range line is right here. That's the red level. So we could look at that as a potential short towards that area. But we have a lot of room down here for us to go towards. I know I should have held that last runner. I should have held that. I should have held a trade to that downside. But two minute right here is what Ryan's talking about. We closed on that 2 minute right here. Yeah, that 2 minute looks pretty nice. I didn't have a 2 minute on my screen. What did I take that off of? I did it off the breaker. And then with the close of the first fair value gap right there. I think this is probably our push lower. So coming up into this order block right here. If we can get price to come up into that order block and that fair value gap, that might be a place to take a short entry, a light short, because we are already in discount from this range, but I still think we have a way to go. All right, Northern, have a blessed day, man. We also have a breaker here. We have a breaker at the midnight open. I don't think we may not get up to that because there's an order block in here. Let's see if that wants to do that or not. going to see if it wants to respect this order block here and if it wants to move lower. Got 1 minute till 10 o'clock. 15 seconds, looks like. So price did do what we expected. It respected this 30-second order block, came up to this breaker right here, found resistance, and then the 10 o'clock candle pushed it lower. Now we have this new order block right here. With these down close candles, we should see it respect that and push lower even more. We're looking at the low of the new week opening gap, which is this blue line sitting right here. And we have this opening range gap. And then as far as a bigger target, we could do the midpoint of the previous day range if we want to leave a runner. I don't think it's going to be nice and smooth the rest of the way down. I think it's going to be this up and down price action. But I do think that it's going to respect it and continue to move lower. I did 2 entries. I did one at the breaker, the 1 minute. On the 1 minute, I did 950 and 950. Back up into that 1 minute order block. And then I sold it on that push. And then I took another entry at 951 when that was closed below the opening range fair value gap, and I took that entry down to the equal lows. I believe both of those were on the micros, and I think my screen should have been on the micros for that trade. Nice tiny little breaker right here. We came up into this fair value gap. That's all we had to do. We may not revisit this. The hard part about right now is I'm seeing the volatility that I want to take. Sorry, I'm doing this on the micros. Let me show you the micros. I'm seeing the volatility. I'm seeing the opportunities to take a short off of these trending days, like going short right inside this fair value gap. But the volatility lately has been pretty gnarly, and it's causing me to be a little hesitant in that, especially when I'm already green, wanting to take an uncertain type of trade that I normally don't take. I normally would rather take the inversion, play this to the upside, but I don't think we're going to do that right now. I think we have lower price action to reach into. We're right in the middle of the new week opening gap. So here's the new week opening gap high, and here's the low. So there's the midpoint. The bodies are staying in the premium portion of that new week opening gap. I would like to see it push down to the low and potentially even reach down to this red level here in the AM session. So even if it inverses this to the upside, I'm personally not going to take it. It's not a bad setup, to be honest. We have equal lows that were ran right here. We purged them. We purged them for a second time. This is typically when this trade works. It's not a bad setup. But at some point, you just don't take every trade. I just don't want to take every trade. But this also would be a great short. That's the thing. I see both sides right now. I'll do one micro contract to the downside here. Let's see if that plays out. One micro, very light, very, very light. A close of this inversion doesn't mean I'm stopping the trade, but we're going to see if it wants to respect this. This is honestly what I'm looking for, is this order block right here to stop price inside this fair value gap and this to push lower. Not looking good. There's the inversion, and there's the stab. Let's see if it rejects it here. All right, that is a no-go. We're gonna let that run. That's why I did that on my accounts, but my point, I only took a micro because I was completely unsure about it, and I wanted to show you, like, when you're unsure about something, stay out completely. Don't take a trade. You don't need to take a trade towards the highs or to see if it's going to roll over if you're uncertain. I was uncertain. I told you that the inversion could absolutely work right here, but at the same time, we're on a sell side run. That's why you stay out. It did not hit that level. That inversion did not complete. You could have taken profits, but it did not grab this. It did not grab the buy side right here. Interesting. On the 5-minute, we have this 5-minute fair value gap sitting above this line right here. So in my mind, I would honestly want it to hit this level and then sell off if it wanted to continue lower, because we have this 5-minute fair value gap sitting right here. So we didn't reach that side, but we're potentially selling off right here. Let's see if we can run the lows. It's very important that we get through the lows. There it is. See if we can get down to the low of the new week opening gap. We want to see this push lower right here, ideally into the low of the new week opening gap. That's what we would want to see, and see if it can reach lower at all. I am in this short right there. I'm going to sell one. And let the last one kind of run. See if it wants to go lower. I don't like that close. Come on, I want it to hit this new week opening gap low, or just about there. And come on, that was just about tagged. All right, nope, not yet. All right, there's the tag in the new week opening gap low. See if it wants to give another big push right here. Depends on how this closes, will determine if I'm going to close this or not. All right, I'm going to close that. go. Oh, that's nice. Got me even more. I'm going to close my accounts. That's where we stop. I'll open an eval account. I always can add more to my eval accounts. I have 6, I think, funded accounts right now. So I'll open an eval account. Good morning, Wilhelm. Gunnenberg, so happy that I found your stream. It is a blessing to me. I'm growing on my techniques, emotions, and spiritually. 2 PA accounts in green and just past 2 evals. Dude, way to go, my friend. Congratulations. That's a big deal. So one thing that I've been dealing with, addressing lately in my emotions is how many of you, I just want you guys to take note of, look at the reaction we're having once we grab the new week opening gap low. This blue line, that's what I was referring to. I ended up selling my position, and look at the reaction we're getting from that low. This is why. Those are key levels. So you have to take profit at those levels. If not, sell your position, because it can do just this. Doesn't mean it's not going to continue lower, but the retracements can really, really sting. And this is a lot. That's huge. What is that? That's 35 handles. So if you were in a short here, handling a 35 handle retracement, when your entry is right around here, that's hard. Okay. Now, there is this order block here, the low of the order block that we just tagged. I don't know how I feel about it. We hit a key level. I think we could go higher. I think we could come all the way up to this level here and tag that 5-minute. The 5-minute fair value gap. That's where the 5-minute fair value gap is, right above this liquidity. And it's where the midnight open is. So, Blake, you are 100% right. If you're on Apex, that would kill you, especially if you aren't taking profits. If you took profit, it wouldn't hurt you nearly as much. So, especially if you are a funded account trader, if you're trading funded accounts or eval accounts, when you hit these key levels, sell your position. Who cares about the bigger trade? Sell your position, because you will be in a whirl of hurt, even if this was your break-even point. Let me show you. Let's say you went short there, okay? No, let's say we went short right here, okay? We went short right there, and right at this point, when we're coming down, our profits are in the green, 40 handles, okay? You didn't sell. It came all the way back up to break even. Even if you're in break even, you're now in drawdown by 40 handles because you didn't capitalize on this profit. You need to sell. If you're only in one contract, sell it. If you are in 2 contracts, sell one, hold the other, okay? There's multiple ways you can do it, but do not let it completely retrace back on you to break even, because now you're in your trailing drawdown goes up by 40 handles, and now you're in drawdown by 40 handles when it goes back to break even, okay? So you just got to be aware of that. I just dropped, for those of you in the Discord, I just dropped under the prop firm discounts channel, I put all the rules for Apex, and I kind of gave some examples so you guys can read them, check them out there, so you can get a good idea of what to expect. But this is one of those that you just need to make sure you're on top of. But going back to my comment of one thing that I'm dealing with right now is in regards to Gutenberg's, your comment, how you're doing very, very well. How many of you have had success in your trading and it's like you're elated? You're like, wow, this is the furthest along I've ever been. Man, it feels so good. Well, the possibilities are endless. I could go here, I could do that. If I got 10 more accounts. I mean, your mind is on steroids at this point, thinking of all the potential possibilities. You're elated. You're so excited. Here's what I have found happens. When your mind starts thinking that way, when you go into the next day, this lingering fear starts creeping in, and it causes you to make mistakes subconsciously. So how many of you have experienced this? You make progress you've never experienced before, and then it seems like almost immediately you lose it. Or you have such a horrible day the following day or the next couple days, and it just like destroys you. I've been not me dealing with that, but I've been processing this because I'm getting back to the point where I'm getting to where I have not been before. I'm getting really close to that, and my mind's starting to reel. Every time I think about that, every time my thoughts start going in to that place, here's what I do. I say, no, Father, I thank you for the progress that you've given me, but there's still so much work to be done. I'm not going to keep my head in the clouds. Father, I thank you for the progress. I honor you. I'm grateful that you're taking me on this direction, that you're guiding me through this path. But Father, I thank you that you've got me here, but there's so much work to do. There's so much more progress I need to make. Father, I keep my head down. I stay focused in Jesus' name. I reject all those lofty ideas of pride, of how great I'm doing. I reject those. Because it says the ability to produce wealth comes from the Lord. It comes from the Lord. So we honor the Lord in it, grateful for it, but we got to move out of that. And I try to take my mindset out of that place and back to, man, I'm still not providing for my family completely out of day trading. So I'm not where I want to be yet. Father, thank you for the progress, but I'm going to stay focused. Because how did you get to where you are? You were focused. You were determined. You're like, man, I can do this. I'm determined. There's that internal drive that just pushes you forward. But what happens for so many people is when we get to the point we've never been before, it's like this airy feeling that it's like, oh, I'm going to take my foot off the gas and enjoy this moment, which is not bad. But the problem is we do that as we go into the next trading day. We do this going into our trading. We got to set that mentality aside, especially when we're sitting down in front of our charts. I mean, because we're entering a battlefield. We are entering an industry that's worth trillions of dollars. And the people behind this have strategically choreographed price to manipulate your feelings and try to grab you and steal your money. And we literally need to be putting our best foot forward. We need to be having our mind completely focused as we take our next trade, as we move on to the next day. So enjoy those moments, but this is just what I've been doing, and I've seen success, progress just in my own mental game, is when I have that success, I enjoy it for that moment. I thank the Lord, I honor him, I journal it, I take pictures, I cry before the Lord. There's so many different things that have happened. But after those moments, I have to turn my mind back on what is it going to take to get to where I know what the Lord has for me. Okay, I'm going to stay focused. I'm not going to keep my head in the clouds, and I'm going to be determined. And it's that fluttery feeling that you know what I'm talking about. It's that fluttery feeling of excitement, but also this nervous feeling that's lingering right behind it. You have to get rid of that completely and get back to that focused mindset so that you can enter the market with a clear mind, with a clear perspective on what the market is doing. It is very, very tricky to do, but it needs to be done, and you have to learn how to do it. That's what I've learned as far as progress and just in my own journey is you're going to be dealing with this. If you want to become $1 million day trader, you're going to have to deal with this over and over and over. So instead of just doing the same thing that you've always done and having to deal with the losses that come following success, we need to think of another way to handle this. And so far, it has worked for me. I'm excited, But I literally have to throw them aside, put on my helmet. I'm going into battle. This is literally a battlefield. And we have to go approach that with that mindset. So, for whatever that's worth for you guys, there you go. I like this inversion to the downside right here. I would not take it. I'm using it as order flow. Reason I would not take it is we just hit new week opening gap low, a key level. The reason why I'm watching it to see if it wants to break it is because I think we're going to run to the midpoint of the previous day range. So I'll give credit to Lumi. Lumi Trades. Lumi Trades called this out on X. And for 13 weeks in a row, price has hit the midpoint of Friday's range on Sunday or on the morning session on a Monday. So, I mean, I went back and looked at it. It's legit. So 13 weeks, we're going on our 14th week. Maybe it fails, but if you have that high of odds for it to happen, you probably want to keep an eye on it continuing moving lower. That's kind of my perspective on it. Doesn't have it may not do it. That's why I'm not taking it. I'm done trading. I'm green. I'm learning to stop when I'm ahead instead of taking, oh, this looks good. Click, loser. You know what I mean? It's just you can't do it. So watching this on the other side, it would be this 30-second right here. If we get an aggressive move, this 30-second right here does look very good to these equal highs. Because price does need to come and rebalance this. It needs to come up into this level, in my opinion, because if you look at the 5-minute, look where those equal highs are. We have this 5-minute fair value gap sitting right here. And price has not come back into that yet. So I think price will come into that. And from there, I would want to see it roll over potentially. That's kind of what I would want to see. But who knows what's going to happen right now. We're in between these two fair value gaps right here. So one of them will break. Alki, not since I stopped that challenge. I've thought about reintroducing that challenge because it's so valuable. It's so valuable for those that are learning to not overtrade. So I, on average, take anywhere from 2 to 5 trades. I think that's honestly where I'm at right now. 2 to 5 trades. So I do take probably more than 3 trades most of the time. But when I got a really, like, what was it? It was on Friday. I took 2 trades on Friday. My first trade was a loss, and my second trade was a 70 handle winner. So, I mean, it was 3 trades, but I ended up selling a part of that 70 handle move because I know that Apex doesn't want giant wins. So I sold it and got back in so I could still capitalize on a second win. But I mean, that's a little more high level when it comes to strategy wise. Nothing that you should concern yourself with at this point. But I've thought about doing that. Would you guys be interested in doing a 3 trade challenge again? For those on the stream? It really challenges you to be patient and wait for your setups. It really, really does. So the trades that I took this morning were right here. Yes, sure, okay. Anybody else? Let's see what kind of response we get on it. Here are the trades that I took this morning. I took a short here. Hindsight, I don't know how I feel about it. I took a breaker short right here. I think I need to really process this trade because I liked it, but at the same point, we didn't have a fair value gap yet. We haven't had our first fair value gap. This one doesn't count. It's 930. That's opening price. So I'm looking for my first fair value gap after 930. It was right here. I took this trade before that formed. If I would have waited for the next candle right here, I probably wouldn't have taken that trade because I would have saw this fair value gap and I would have waited for it to roll over and give me an inversion to go short. So I think I rushed this trade personally. I think I rushed this trade. This is what I took, and I ended up with a 25 handle stop. It was somewhere around there that I took the stop. It was other way around. It wasn't the worst setup. Looking back, I think I was just impatient. So here's an example of impatience. I mean, it looked really good. High, low, higher, high. We break lower. Displacement, market structure shift. Price comes back into the fair value gap. It just didn't work. Went against me. And then after that, we took a short here on this wick right here. On the 30-second, we went short around there. We sold at these lows right here inside that 1 minute. I sold it really quickly because it had a big push. You could have held it 100%, and that's what I need to get better at is holding these instead of just selling them right away. I think I've been burned too many times where I get these flashes lower and then it just retraces on me completely and runs against me. Here's that 30-second. Are we on the 30-second? Here's that 1 minute. 1 minute fair value gaps right here. Still watching that. So I could have held it and then we could have ran for these equal lows and that would have been an 80 handle move, but I didn't. I ended up selling here for about 40 handles. It was about a 40 hand. It was about 40. No, it wasn't 40 handles. I don't think I got to 200 ticks. It was somewhere around here. But then as soon as price closed below this fair value gap right here, I got back in it with my stop and I targeted these equal lows right there. So I took 2 trades on this run lower. And then the last trade that I took was again to the downside. I took this momentum right here. We failed to hit that high. Look at how it closed and now it's rejecting. I'm curious on if I think this is just manipulation here. I think we still go higher, but we'll see what happens with that. But I took this trade on this candle here when we closed, or just about when we closed, I went short right there. Why? Because we didn't hit this high, meaning this inversion failed and we had large displacement with more targets to the downside. So I took a momentum trade right here and we ended up selling it right at the low there for 40 handles. So those were the trades that I took this morning. Now I did only, on this last trade, I only did 2 micro contracts because I was already up for the day. So I sold one on the initial push and hold one for the low. So my accounts are up about $200 a piece right now. $200 a piece right now on 6 accounts. So what is that? $1,200. That's all you need, guys. That's literally all you need. All you need. And as you build more accounts and you're consistent with that, if I had 20 accounts, that'd have been $2,000. $4,000. Shoot. Well, what do you guys think? I think we still see lower prices. It violated that. Closed below it, injected. I mean, this is a winner here. This is a winning trade right here, going higher. So when it fails, it tells you that the market is selling off. It tells you that you're in a market maker sell model, or you're seeing the algorithm has instructions to run lower. This is why when you're ahead, you can't just take every inversion that you see. I mean, I learned this the hard way. I didn't take this. I'm done for the day. It looked really good, but I still didn't take it because I chose to be done. So because I didn't take it, guess what? I didn't lose on this trade. Because not every inversion is going to win. All right, so it looks like we have a few people that want to do the 3 trade challenge. What we'll do is after the holidays, after next week, we'll start that next Monday. So we'll let this week play out, and then next Monday we'll reinitiate the 3 trade challenge. There's the close below this inversion on the 30-second. If this failed, I think this works. Just my gut. Break even is at that point right there. This is not very good odds. I mean, your risk to reward is not very good. So I personally wouldn't take this. Look at where your break even is and look how big your stop is. This is not good risk to reward. Once we hit this low right here, you take profit, some profit, you leave a runner, and you move your stop to break even. I'm not a fan of this overall, just how big the risk is and how small the reward is. I think it should still work, though. We'll see. Unless it wants to save this for later, which is very possible. Yeah. I would be reducing your risk at this point, guys. If you're in this trade, I would reduce your risk. If you have 2 contracts, go down to 1. Reduce your risk because the chances of this getting stopped based on what I'm seeing in these candles could be possible. And if it turns into a win, that's fine. You take a smaller win, but you also protected yourself. So I'm thinking risk first. How to avoid losing more. This trade is invalid the moment we close above that level. We are hitting this breaker right here. Looks nice. Yeah, when we're this low and we don't run this, guys, that tells me this is not a trade I'd want to be in. What happened when we ran this low? Look how aggressive when we ran that low. Look how aggressive when we ran this low. Look how aggressive when we ran this low. It's being fickle down here. I don't like trading that. Nonetheless, we'll see this play out. See if we stay below that. Doesn't look. All right, that trade is now invalid. You close the trade because we closed above this fair value gap. So I'm wrong on this one. I'm wrong on this one. I took no trades because I was done for the day. I don't lose anything personally. However, what is this tells me that I would not be trading right now. I would be waiting for at least 10:45 for the next macro. And we have no news. I mean, and it's before a holiday. Let's look at the hourly. Here's the hourly. We wicked into that big gap that we talked about before. Previous day high was sitting right here. So we need to drag that over. Look how we came into that level. That's a nice rejection of that level. Personally, I do think higher time frame. I do think we see lower prices. How we get there, I'm not sure. Gold is almost down 3%. Beautiful, beautiful. I want to see that do that. Boom. Do that in one day. And then you can go to the moon. That's fine with me. I doubt that will happen. Let's jump to the 4 hour here. 4 hour. All right, so look how we green, but close red. This one candle tells me bearish price action. How we move lower is the question that we just don't know. We have to wait. Why 10:45? 10:45 is a macro time between 10:45 and 11:15. What does that mean? Macro times are when the algorithm can receive instructions to run to key levels. What does that mean practically? It means less fake outs and a greater chance that price starts running in the direction. We don't know the direction. That's our job to figure it out through using our models and our entry strategies. But during those macro times, for example, look at this trade right here. Let's go down to the 1 minute here. Look when this trade started running. Look what time it was. Here's 43, 44, 45. This is 9:45, and then what happens with price? It's like it was released to start running. Okay? 9:40. Does it always happen that way? No, but it's a higher probability that it does. Okay? Let's look at it. I mean, we could go to another day and I could show you the exact same thing. Look at this high up here. Let's just see. Look at that high. I mean, I just literally, I didn't even look at the time. I'm just looking at a high. Look at this high. Look what time it is. It's at 9:45, 9:48, and then it drops. It runs. Okay? Look at this low down here. What time is that? It's 10:30. Okay, not a big deal. Here's this high right here, 11 a.m., and then we start selling off. So the last 15 minutes and the first 15 minutes of the hour, I prefer to take my trades during those times. That's when I normally want to take the trades. So when I would look at this violation of this inversion and it didn't work, and I'd look at this one and say it didn't work, the only answer I can have is that it's in consolidation and it's not being released and it's not between the 9:45 or the 10:45 and 11:15 time frame. So if we close above this now at 10:45, I think we have a greater chance of hitting these equal highs. Depending if it wants to go higher or not. I'm not saying one way or the other. But that's kind of what that means, Eva. Long at 20,900 right here. Way to go. I like that, especially with this candle here at 1041, creating this order block. That looks really nice. And we just closed above this 1 minute fair value gap right here. I think you got a decent trade, Hang Flying. And what time is it? It's 10:43. We are really close to that macro time where price could start pushing higher. Or it hits these highs and then reverses. It could do one or the other. I would take some profit there. But this looks good. Nice job. That looks like a great trade. I bet you on the 30 second, it's a nice breaker. Let's look at the 30 second real quick. So we got a low, high, lower, low right here. And there's the breaker into that candle. Yeah, that looks nice. I think you got a winner. I think we should, depending on how we react right here, because we did grab liquidity on this high. Let's see how it reacts here. I really would be watching this first fair value gap. I would want to see this first fair value gap hold. If we violate this first fair value gap, I'd be out of the trade personally. Because it could come all the way down to this order block here. Or these volume imbalances here. Let's see where it closes though. I want it to close inside this. Here's that low. All right, we did close inside it. I'm okay with wicks lower. I'm just not okay with a close below this. I want it to stay inside this. And it doesn't look like it's going to give us that. That would be my sign to get out. All right, so we are at 9:45 or 10:45. This candle's 10:45. Let's see what happens. We have this inversion that was right there. Oh, TOC, good morning. You bet, man. I'm hoping it's helpful. My goal in that whole course is to teach people how to read order flow. What I'm doing here, am I right 100% of the time? God, no. Heck no. I mean, it's a continually learning process. But the more, I can tell you right now, because I'm on stream with you guys and I'm calling it out, even though I'm wrong, I'm going to learn way more than you would if you're not calling it out yourself. But with that being said, today I'm launching, or we're going to be doing a new promo for the Academy. If you're interested in joining the Academy, we're going to be doing a Black Friday sale. It starts today. That Black Friday sale will give you a pretty large discount on getting access to the Academy, which is the study material as well as the Discord, where we collaborate. We do back testing in there. We talk about all the different strategies, answer questions, whatever you guys want, to be honest. Just build community, all of it. The code for that, if you're interested, is BF100. BF100, and you can go check out that at dtjacademy.com. That is the discount code for Black Friday. Black Friday. And if you're using Apex, use the code DTJ. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for those that do. Those, I will tell you, I'll be honest with you right now. That affiliation is paying for all of my website stuff to basically host the course, to host the website, to host the boost for Discord. That is what that covers. So I'm extremely grateful for that. It allows me to create all of these other educational platforms because all of that costs money. All of that costs money to host, to let it sit there, and for people to use. So I am very grateful for those that, if you're using Apex, just simply using DTJ to get that 80% discount helps support the channel. Helps support the education for everybody else. So I'm very grateful. I really, really mean that. We're going to see how the next 15, 20 minutes plays out, and then we'll probably call it a day. It wouldn't surprise me if we consolidate inside this big gap that we have. Or even just right above it too. Because, I mean, you can't count out all-time highs. I was doing some back testing, and I wanted to note on one of my photos that Trump won the election. If any of you, though, are on the fence on joining the Academy, let me tell you that the 930 model that I've been trading every morning, it is won 10 days and has lost 1 day. So I've had 10 winning days with the 930 model. I've had 1 losing day with the 930 model. And 1 day of trading that would pay for the Academy. Let's give it 2. Let's just say you're conservative. 2 or 3 days of that model would pay for the Academy. If any of you are on the fence. And it's an 80% win rate. So it's almost a guarantee that you will get your money back for that. To me, it looks like it's waiting later to have these equal highs ran. It's creating low resistance liquidity. So if it's creating the low resistance liquidity, that means we're in high resistance liquidity. Okay? If we're in process of creating low resistance opportunities, aka all these swing highs that are slightly lower than each other, this is called low resistance liquidity. Okay, other retail traders will call that a trend line. If we are in process of creating that trend line, that means we are in high resistance situations. High resistance situations means a higher probability of failure, a greater probability of your stops being ran, a greater probability of you hitting your stop loss or your break even. Okay, we can even see that. We failed here. It failed here. It didn't run. It barely ran here. It had an inversion right here. Didn't run the lows. We're seeing high resistant candles. That's because we're in process of creating low resistance liquidity. So what does this mean? In my mind, however long it wants to do this thing, I don't know. It can do its thing. It can, do whatever it wants. But in the process, it's creating all this low resistance liquidity. And then at some point, maybe we're on stream, maybe we're not. Maybe you're on the charts, maybe you're not. But at some point, you will see, and mark my words, you will see an aggressive candle in 1, 2, 3 candles, or very, very cleanly, it will run that liquidity. That's just what it does. It's engineering liquidity so that it can run all those stops. Okay? It could be later today, could be tomorrow, could be next week. We don't necessarily know. We just, when we're on the charts, we read the charts to try to figure out, all right, what's our options? What do we see? What looks good? Oh, look at that low resistance liquidity. Here we hit a key level to the downside. Okay, I could see it aggressively move that direction. I want to play bullish price action today. I want to be a bull today. That's what we do. So I'm seeing this right now. My encouragement to you guys would be to stay out. I would not be trading anything right now. I'd be done trading. And unfortunately, many times, some of the losses that we take are because we weren't able to identify the high resistant market yet. And we take the losses and then we go, oh, I'm going to be done. And then we come back and we look and we go, oh, looks like it's high resistance right now. I should stay out. Right here, on this series of up close candles, I wouldn't have said that we're in a high resistance market right now. Up to this point right here, I wouldn't have said that because it didn't look to me to be high resistance. But when we fail, we sweep, and now we're moving lower. Now it's like, okay, I mean, it's to me, it's obvious, and this is where we want to stay out. We don't want to trade anything. Even if it looks really good, I would not take it. These looked really good. I'm not going to lie. These looked great, especially this trade. I really liked this trade, and I didn't take it because I was done on the day. I really liked this, and it failed. I wish I could avoid the losses. I wish I could. So I'd be done on the day, guys. Even if it drops and aggressively, I just would be done. I think it's the safer answer. I think I want to remove that daily. Doesn't look like we're gonna, I mean, maybe we could. I guess we still could. Let's put that back on. We could still hit this red line, but we'll see. Tony, I use Trade of 8. Yes, I do. Why do you ask? Happy holidays, TOC. Have a blessed day. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, I use TradeView. I really don't have a reason. I mean, TradeView is owned by Ninja Traders. So, I mean, you've been using Top Step? Somebody was sharing, I don't know who it was, about some of the Top Step rules. I just didn't like, I haven't used Top Step, but when she was sharing the rules, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I would like that at all. How do you feel about the rules at Top Step? So I want to take one last thing. Do they change the rules? Do they change the rules at Apex or at Top Step? At Top Step, I didn't know the rules in the first place. Somebody was just sharing all of the rules, and I was just taking note of them and saying how I didn't like them. Okay, we are at 11 o'clock right now. If we don't see a significant type of displacement within this macro, I would stay out because to me it's gonna wait till either the noon or the PM session, lunch hour or a PM session. So I wouldn't be trading anything right now. You can see that we've had the first 15 minutes of the macro, and yes, we've moved lower, but I don't like the price action altogether. You're new. Okay, you're new to prop firms. Traded crypto. Well, crypto's going crazy right now. My brother has a bunch in Cardano. I forget which one it's called. And then Bitcoin is currently in a retracement. It will probably hit that $100,000 level. But it's just retracing right before it, getting everybody to freak out before it explodes through that, most likely. I did back in 2020. Mistake. I got it when everything was going crazy. And then we crashed. The crypto market crashed. Outside of that, I don't do anything with crypto right now. This is my focus. I trade one thing, NQ, the Nasdaq. And it is so refreshing to know that I'm just going to sit down and look at one chart. I've seen that chart over and over and over again. I know how it moves. I know what it's done. I remember what the previous day looked like. I remember the levels for the most part, how it reacted. So the more I trade just one, the more I like it. So I've been trading the Nasdaq since just this, I think basically this whole year, I've been just on the Nasdaq. This is the first year I've traded exclusively the Nasdaq. And it's nice not to have to figure out, oh, which one am I going to trade? What looks good, or going back and forth. It's just like, I'm going to wait for my setup. See how we come back down to this level? What level is this? There's probably a fair value gap on the 30-second. No, we just ran liquidity here. This is what I'm talking about. I don't like it. Yeah, I would be sitting out, folks. I don't know what RTY is, Hank Fine. It's Mike, am I right? Hank Fine, it's Mike, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Mike, I don't know what RTY is. Is it crypto, I'm assuming? Tell you what, I think people have been getting into Doge since the Department of Government Efficiency has been formed. Based on the Russells. I like the volatility of the Nasdaq. I'm not going to lie, because my goal is to get 10 handles. 10, 20 handles. If I can get that, I'm out. It's relatively easy. All things considered, to get 15 handles. Look, there's 20 handles right there. This candle right here is 21 handles. So if you went short, you're 21 handles and you're out. I mean, in less than a minute. That's 30 seconds. What the heck? That's 30 seconds right there. You get in this candle right here into this fair value gap. I'm not saying you should have, but I'm just saying if you're on the right side of the move, 10, 20 handles is like that. So I like that reality of just being in and out quickly. Crypto has high fees. I knew somebody here in town that they traded Ethereum exclusively. I don't know what they're doing today. I don't know if they're still trading it or not, but I don't know what the fees are. Yeah, Trade of 8 has relatively low fees. They're 35 cents per contract on the micros. And then I think they're like, I don't know what they are. I remember. So for Trade of 8, it looks like the micros are 35 cents per micro. So when you buy, you pay 35 cents. When you sell, you pay 35 cents. And then on a mini contract, it's at $1.29 when you buy and $1.29 when you sell. So for one mini contract, you're going to be in for $2.60. That's going to be the cost for you to trade one mini contract. To trade 10 micro contracts, you're at $3.50 in and $3.50 out. So $7 to trade micros. So $2.60 for a standard and $7 for your micros. So it is better to do the mini contracts, but that's just a lot more risk and you have to take. So I trade the micros and I pay more for that, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with paying a higher commission because eventually I will be out of that and I'll be moving to the standard. Now, I did do the math on if I was to buy the lifetime fee of $1,500, and I calculated I would have to trade. It was a ridiculously high number. It was like 800 to 900 to 1,000 trades or something like that to break even, to get to break even. I can't remember what it was. But if I'm really taking 1 to 3 trades a day, I think I calculated it would take probably a year, close to a year, to get to break even for that $1,500 cost So I just decided I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pay what I have right now. It doesn't bother me that much. As long as if I'm paying $7 for 10 micros and I make $200, I'll pay $7 to make $193. That's kind of my thoughts on that. Yes, you can write off your fees, Blake, but they're part. I don't know if they're counted as losses or not. You obviously will count your losses, but if you're trading a prop firm, I think it's a little bit different. If you're trading prop firms, you're not losing any of that money. That's all demo money. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're doing prop firms, you're basically a 1099. You're not getting the benefit of trading futures by using prop firm. You only benefit from that if you're trading your own personal account. So my ultimate goal is to build up my personal account, become profitable enough to where I'm providing for my family, but also building up a personal account, and then trade that personal account exclusively in the future. Because the only thing that's guaranteed is a personal account not disappearing. Who knows what happens with companies? I don't know. I'm going to benefit from trading these companies as much as I can, but at some point, they could disappear. So I'm willing to take that risk. I don't see them disappearing in the near future, at least for the next 4 years with Trump being in office. And capitalizing on that. And it's way cheaper to learn on funded accounts and eval accounts than it is to learn on your own personal account. Folks, I think we're going to call it a day here. I'm not expecting anything, and even if it does, I wouldn't recommend trading it. We're at that 2-hour point that I start feeling like I've been on for 2 hours. So I'll be in the Discord the remainder of the day. If I'm on the charts, if I see something, I'll post that in the Discord. But if I'm not on the charts, then obviously I won't be posting anything that I'm seeing. But I'll be in there answering questions or anything like that that you guys may have. So other than that, guys, have a blessed day today. You guys are awesome. Stay safe. God bless you. And we will see you guys probably tomorrow. Okay? Take care. God bless.